Hi, I'm Krista, and I am super excited to share this homeschool tracker with you. I created it years ago to fit our own homeschool tracking needs, and after years of use from both myself and my friends, I can tell you that it works really great, and it's both super simple and effective. This is what it looks like. It has three main tabs: the year tab, the tracker tab, and the summary tab. And then it also has this print option tab that you can use to print your records at the end of the year if you'd like. And we'll go over the year tab first. The year tab is where you can make a general overview plan for your homeschool year. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that the years in the green banner are the years that you want to be tracking. Mine is currently set to track 2026 to 2027, but if I am trying to reuse this calendar, say for next year, and I've saved another copy, then I'm going to come in here and change the starting year to 2027 and watch what happens to the first row of calendar months when I hit enter. Boom, it changes for you. It's so cool. So 2027 to 2028. I'll change the second half of the year and it will auto update all the calendars throughout the Google Sheet so that you can reuse this tracker every year. Once you have the correct dates in the green banner, you can go ahead and start selecting all the days that you anticipate doing homeschool for the year. So say you wanted to start August 16th, you could go in and start checking individual date boxes. Or if you want to save time, you can hold down the command button on a Mac or the control key on a PC. And while you're holding that button, you can highlight as many date cells as you'd like and then select them by hitting the spacebar. And then you can go through and uncheck any dates that you think you might take off for holidays or birthdays or vacations or whatever your needs are. And this is editable throughout the year, so at any point if you are going through the school year and you want to reflect back and change some things, you can always do that. Then if you move to the right of the calendar months, you'll see this green box here with the total planned school days and the total needed school days. You can edit the number in the total needed box. So right now it has 172 in it because that's how many required school days per year we have in Colorado. But every state has a different legal requirement, so you can put in however many required school days you have for your specific school. Say you need to make sure you do 185 school days this year, you can put that number in here. The number in the total planned school days box is auto-calculated, so you can see as I check and uncheck boxes that number will go up and down. You don't want to try to edit the number in the total planned school days box because it'll mess with the formula that's doing the auto-calculating. The whole purpose of the green box is to provide a quick reference as you're planning your school year to see whether you're on track to meet your number of required days or if you're going to still need to add some more school days to your year. Okay, just a couple more things for the year tab. The first is that each of these number cells in the date boxes in the calendar years is a formula. And if you were to accidentally edit or erase one of the date cells in the sheet, it would erase the formula and mess with the functionality of the whole sheet. So if you accidentally erase one of these numbers, just hit undo to bring it back to its original state. And the last thing that I want to show you with this year tab is how to quickly erase your entire year so that you can start planning your next year. And before you do that, just make sure that you have made a copy of your original Google Sheet so that you're not deleting any data from your previous year. So to erase all the dates, all you have to do is start up here by August and highlight and select the entire year and hit the spacebar twice, and that will automatically clear all of the dates in your calendar so that you have a fresh slate. All right, let's move on to the tracker tab. This is what the tracker tab looks like. It's organized by month. Notice all the green calendars on the left-hand side of the sheet. Any of the days that you had selected as anticipated homeschool days in your year tab will show up as orange on your tracker tab, so that as you're going throughout the year, you can easily see what days you were planning to do homeschool. I've filled out the tracker tab to some extent just so you can see what it looks like when it's in use. Each date has a space where you can enter the number of hours of school that you've completed for that day. Any date that has an hours entry is considered a completed school day, and all the completed school days are automatically totaled in the blue box below each month, and in the summary tab you can find the annual totals for days completed up here. In addition to tracking the total days completed, this tracker will also automatically keep track of your total number of hours that you've completed for each month and for the year. And it also keeps track of your average hours per day. So if you look closely at the numbers that have been tracked for August so far this year, you can see that we've completed 12 total days of school, 49 total hours, and an average of 4.1 hours per day. And the numbers are the same for the month and the year in August because we've only completed 1 month of school so far. But if you scroll down to the month of September, you'll see that the month and the year numbers are different, and that's because the month is calculating the totals and averages for just the month that you're viewing, and the year is calculating those totals and averages for the entire year to date. So you can use this to quickly see your progress and to act as a guide to make sure you're on track to meet your requirements. I have one more thing I'd like to talk about in regards to the green months on the left-hand side. So let's go down to January and say that we're moving along doing school, recording our hours per day, and then somebody gets sick or for some reason you're unable to complete school on Thursday and Friday. So you just don't enter any hours those days, and then maybe on Sunday you can make up some hours or a fun field trip opportunity comes along, or for whatever reason you're able to make up 3 hours of school that day. So you can put a 3 in the text cell for that date. Now you can see that there's some inconsistencies with what you had originally planned and what you've put in your tracker. You can leave the calendar like this if you want to, because all the totals and averages are calculated based off what's put in the tracker, regardless of whether the dates are orange or not. But personally, I like to go into the year tab and make changes to keep the planned days and actual school days consistent. Not only because it makes it look cleaner on the tracker tab, but also because it keeps the year tab updated so that if I decide mid-year that I want to make some changes to our schedule plan, like maybe I want to drop Fridays from our school week so that we have a little bit shorter weeks, I can make those changes and still have an accurate representation of how many planned school days I have and quickly see if I'm on track to meet the total number of required days for the year. Okay, let's move to the subjects column of the tracker tab. What I do is make a list of all the required subjects for my state, and I bold them and list them under each month. So I have all the required subjects listed here under August, and again in September, and in October, and so on. And as we go through each month, if we cover one of the subjects, I put a check mark by it, and then to the right in this notes section, I'll write a little bit about what we did to cover that subject. So maybe lessons that we completed, or books that we read, or experiments we did, field trips, etc. I try to keep it fairly concise so that we have enough information to remember what we did without making the whole page feel overwhelming. And of course, you're probably going to want to cover subjects that are not on your required subject list from your state. And so you can add any subject that you'd like in the lines provided in the subjects list. And you don't have to copy the required subjects list for your state to each month, but I would recommend putting them in there at least once, because as soon as you enter a subject into any place in your subjects list on your tracker tab, it will make a copy of it in the summary tab under the subjects heading here. So you can see that any of the subjects that I had in the tracker tab that I've put a check mark next to will fall under the taught category because they've been covered at some point during the year. But if any of the subjects that I've listed in the tracker tab do not have a check mark by them, then they'll fall into this remaining category because we have yet to cover them for the year. So by listing all of your required subjects at least once in the tracker tab, you'll ensure that you can use this summary space as a quick check to make sure that you are covering all of your state's required subjects. All right, let's finish up by talking about the rest of this summary tab. Up in the left-hand corner, you have the annual totals, and this has formulas to automatically calculate your total hours, total days, and your average hours per day for the year based on what information you put in your tracker tab. And below that is your subjects list, which will automatically filter your subjects like we discussed so that you can quickly see what subjects you've covered and which you have yet to go over. And to the right of this is the curriculum overview section. This is a space for you to record which curriculum you've used for each subject. This can be a great tool when you're planning your year so you can organize your thoughts of what curriculum you think you'll use for each subject. And you can update it as you go throughout the year. Maybe you didn't use a curriculum you thought you would, or you switched partway through the year. You can keep the list accurate as you go. Okay, moving to the right a little further, you'll see the evaluations and assessments section. Every state and homeschool family kind of differs on their requirements or preferences for how to do the evaluations and assessments. So if your child completes any evaluations or assessments during the year, this is a space where you can record the results. Notice in this example that I have here, I put a link to a Google Drive document. If you have documents that have more details for the assessment or evaluation that you've completed, you can upload it to your Google Drive and then link it through your sheet by copying the document in your drive and then right-clicking where you want the link to go and just selecting Insert Link. Links aren't necessary, but they can be a really great way to organize your information. Evaluation results also aren't the only place that you can use links. Some people choose to link uploaded assignments or photos of activities throughout the tracker as well. Moving even further to the right, I have a favorite books section and a favorite activities section. There are no formulas in either of these sections, so feel free to change the headings or shift things around to make them your own and record what feels important for your homeschool and your family. For us, I've found that keeping a record of our favorite books and activities helps capture the essence of the year and creates a meaningful place to look back and reflect on all the fun and special moments. That's it for the summary tab, and at this point we've covered everything you need to know in order to use this tracker effectively. But before I go, I do want to show you this optional fourth tab that I've built. Since this tracker is an online tool, these records are accessible at any time, which is one of the reasons that I love it. But I know that some families like to have a physical copy of their school year records. So I created this last print option page in an effort to create a more printer-friendly version of your year. It uses formulas to pull over information from your tracker and summary tab. So all you have to do when you reach the end of your school year is you go to this page and click print, and then this page pops up and you can print it as it is. But I like to change a couple options to clean it up a bit. So I go down to formatting, unselect the show grid lines, and then I like to put in a custom page break because as you see, the way it is, it will print everything, but it chops stuff off in weird places. So I set the custom page breaks, and the first time you click this, it'll say set custom page breaks. Because I've already set mine up, it automatically remembers where I've set my page breaks for. And this way all my summary stuff fits on one page, and then I have 2 months on every page after that. If you want to edit your page breaks, you just click edit, and then it pulls up this page, which is also the page that you see when you initially click the set custom page breaks. And you'll see these lines, which are the page breaks, and you can move them wherever you want. So I have mine set at the end of the summary information, and then at the end of September, the end of November, and every 2 months after that. You can also easily add or remove page breaks. If you want to remove them, you just hover over the line and you'll see the little X pop up. You can click it and it takes it out. When you're all done, you just select Confirm Breaks and it'll give you the print preview. You can look it over, make sure it looks good, and then print a copy of your records for your file. And that's everything for the Homeschool Tracker. Thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to watch. I hope that this gives you a simple and non-overwhelming way to stay organized and to actually enjoy tracking your homeschool days. If you're interested in using the tracker, I'll link it in the notes below. And if this was helpful, it would mean so much if you share it with another homeschool family. Thanks again for your support. It truly means a ton to my family and I. And if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you have a great day.